My name is Derek Durazia with North Carolina Emergency Management, the Preparedness Grants Management Branch, or PGMB. We are here today to discuss the FY24 SLCGP application in Salesforce. SLCGP, State Local Cybersecurity Grant Program. Salesforce is the portal by which applicants will submit their applications for FY24 SLCGP. This is a tutorial video to walk you through how to complete that application. And your first step in the process will be, of course, to log on to Salesforce. Okay. In order to do that, you could just Google NCEM Salesforce. Also, if you look at our grants website for NCEM, you will find links to Salesforce throughout the website. But either way, you'll come to the login page for Salesforce, and it will look something like this. It's called the NCEM Portal for Preparedness and Hazard Mitigation Grants. I understand that's a mouthful. But this is a shared portal, not just for our preparedness grants, but our hazard mitigation grants at North Carolina Emergency Management. So when you log on, you may see additional grants that you're not familiar with, but for purposes of today, we are here to apply for FY24 SLCGP. So your login screen looks something like this. You have a username and password, you'll enter them and log in. If you do not have access to Salesforce, you will click here where it says New User, click here. If you forget your password, you will click here to get a password reset. Okay, so if you're a new user and don't have access to Salesforce, I'll show you what the registration form looks like. It'll take you to this form here. All right, well, maybe it's not there. All right, well, it'll take you to a form you would register in Salesforce. Okay, and then you would log on. Once you log on, your screen will look something like this. It'll say, welcome to the North Carolina Emergency Management Grants Portal for Preparedness and Hazard Mitigation Grants. Okay. This is your home page. These are called objects at the top of the screen. Okay. All you simply do is click available grants to see which grants you can apply for in Salesforce. Again, this is a testing environment that I'm actually showing this video in, and we are a fictitious county in North Carolina called Z Alpha Test. You may not see all these different things when you log into Salesforce, but the one grant we're talking about today is not FY23 SLCGP, it's FY24 SLCGP. Okay, so you will click on that and go to apply for the grant. Before you do that, okay, click on the object up here in account profile, okay, and update your account. Okay, your account is your organization, in this case, Fictitious County Z Alpha Test. You'll click on that and you will update your information about your organization. Okay. Anywhere you see a pencil, you can simply click on that field and update that information. Okay. Anywhere you see a little I button here, hover over it or click it, you will see more information about what is in that field. Okay. So, for example, here this is called Unique Entity ID. You must have that to receive federal funding. You go to this website, sam.gov, to get that UEID, which is 12-character alphanumeric value. Okay. Now let's just say that UEID was wrong. I just click on that number there, that pencil, and my UID is UID 12345, not 1234546. All right, so I update it, hit save. All right, that's as easy as that to update these fields. Please make sure all your information, excuse me, is correct and accurate on the account profile, because when you do your application in Salesforce, it will import your account profile into your application. Okay, if this is not right, you'll have to stop your application, get out, update your account profile, go back into your application. Okay, so make sure all this information is correct. Then you want to look at your contacts. Okay, these are the folks who represent your organization in Salesforce. So assuming you would be a contact if you're logging in. In this case, I'm sub-applicant Derek D. I would go ahead again, excuse me, put the information and update it. Okay, in particular, please make sure your email address is 100% accurate and correct, because the system will auto-generate emails and send them to you throughout the process. So you must have an accurate email address for your POC. Make sure your phone, make sure all the information is correct. Again, if it's not, click the pencil and update it. So again, Salesforce will import your contact information into the application. If it's not correct, you'll have to get out of your application, come back, update your contact, go back into your application. So you want to go ahead and update your account profile and your contact information before you apply for the grant in Salesforce. So again, going back to available grants, again, you may see a number of different grants that are showing on the screen at this point, but you are going to click FY24 SLCGP, which is right here. This is what we call the notice of information regarding the grant. This is all the information about the grant. It's just telling you kind of what you're getting into before you click that apply button. Okay. Again, anywhere you see an I button, it will tell you more information about what's in that field. So this is the POP, period of performance, start date and end date for the grant. It's got how much information, excuse me, how much money is available, total funding to apply for, or how much is available to compete for, how much your maximum award amount can be, which in this case is $250,000 federal award. It talks about the required match here. Okay, so the federal share is 70%, the non-federal share is 30%, and grantee is responsible for the non-federal share. So this is very important information, and our website for SLCGP is being updated to reflect this. But unlike in years past, unfortunately, NCDPS/NCEM is not able to provide the match for local governments for FY24 SLCGP. So you will have to provide your own match. So 30% is the required match, and that's what this is showing here. Anywhere you see these blue hyperlinks, it takes you to more information. So this is the FEMA SLCGP website. This is our website. I would click on those examples. I click on those websites to get more information about the grant before you apply for it. Okay. Down here is an example of how the match works. Okay, and this will be on our website as well. But basically, in its simplest terms, the match is computed on total project costs. So let's say you're buying a piece of software, software package for $100,000. You would be responsible for $30,000 of that cost, and the federal funding will be $70,000 for that cost, right? So 70% of the total project costs, federal, 30% is your own responsibility, all right? If you're not able to provide that match or cost share, then you need to apply for FY24 SLCGP. That's what this basically says. Okay, but let's say you read over all this information, you're good with the match, you understand everything, you're ready to go ahead and apply for the grant. Up here in the upper right-hand corner, simply click apply. Am I ready to apply? Yes, I am. All right. Again, it imports your information from your account here. I didn't do a very good job of updating all my information with the alpha test, but let's assume that's all correct. All right. Organization type, again, hit the I box for more information, but basically you must be a local government entity, including community colleges, or a state agency or a tribal entity to apply for FY24 SLCGP. Okay, so let's just say here I'm a county, fictitious county is the alpha test. I am a local government. And again, anywhere you see the blue active hyperlink takes you to more information. We'll give you the definition of local government entity, definition of community college here if you need more information. But in this case, I'm a local government entity. All right, so I click that. Am I a rural community? So is my population less than 50,000? And more information here in the I box if you want to see it. In this case, I'm going to say, no, I'm not a rural community. Okay. But either way, just answer the question, yes or no. If you are rural, the way kind of the rules are, a little more money has to actually be passed through to rural communities. So you actually have a little advantage if you're rural, because this grant is designed to get money out to the rural communities, kind of in preference to other folks. So you get a little bit of preference here for rural community. But if not, no big deal. Just hit no in this case. All right, now you're going to pick your POC, your primary point of contact for the grant. And again, this is going to import my information for applicant Derek. All right, then you're going to enter your project manager. In this case, I'm Derek Durazio. I'm the IT manager. You got to put your email in here for the project manager. I'm sure I put my own email address here, my work email address. And you can copy and paste and cut and paste into these fields as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and use that again later. I'll type my phone number here. That's just a fake phone number. All right. Financial officer, you got to put that information in there. There's Joe Finance is our finance officer. He's our comptroller. I'm just going to use my email address, and I'll just put a fake phone number in there again. All right, authorizing official. This is the folks. This is the individual who will be essentially signing your grant agreement. Okay, so typically it's like a county manager or something. So here we'll say Joe County Manager. Right. Email address in there, and I'll just make a phone number up here. All right, so you enter that information. This is all the folks associated with your grant application. Click Save and Next. It's going to pull that POC information from the account profile object, from the contacts object. It pulls it in to the application. Yes, the information is correct. All right, now we get to the meat of the application. Okay, project title. Again, click the I box for more information. You got 35 characters max here. This is a brief project title. In this case, we're going to do penetration testing software. Okay, we're going to buy a software pack for pen testing. Purpose, again, click here. I think you're limited. Just ask for a couple sentences here. So we're just going to, again, just say, penetration testing software here. But you can describe your project here in a concise fashion. All right. Project objective. This basically tells you must select a single project objective. So one of these 4 things must be selected. In this case, we're going to go ahead and say implement security protections commensurate with risk. All right. Objective 3. You can only pick one of these. So if you pick, it's a radio button. So whatever one you pick, we'll click off the other one. Here we're going to pick 3. Okay, for project objective, you must pick one of the 4. Required elements. Again, more information here. You can select one or more of these elements. So again, you collect as many as you want here. I think there's 16 total. In this case, we're going to click manage, monitor, and track information systems, monitor and track network traffic. Let's see here. That should be good enough. We'll check those 2. But if you want to, check all that apply, basically. All right. EHP, Environmental Planning and Historical Preservation. This traditionally with SLCGP, if your project involves construction, renovation, alteration, modification, kind of physical infrastructure type activities, you would not be able to fund that project with SLCGP funding. All right. Now, for FY24 SLCGP, FEMA has made a minor exception to that to allow for minor building modifications. Okay. And this information describes what a minor building modification is if you want to apply for a project like that. Okay. So basically, a minor building modification would be something that would be necessary to install and connect grant purchased equipment that does not affect the building structure. All right. So this would be things like using existing cabling, existing server racks, right? Not drilling new holes, not drilling, laying new cable, but using existing infrastructure to simply install new equipment. That might be a minor modification. All right. Having said that, you can read this information. It gets to a lot of discussion about what that may or may not be. In this case, we're keeping it simple. We're buying penetration testing software. Yes, you quote install software, but there's no physical construction renovation required. So clearly, when you purchase software, EHP is not required. Okay. So here's asked the question: does this require an EHP? And again, more information at these hyperlinks. But in this case, it clearly does not. I'm going to say no. Okay. And if you are in fact applying for a software package, just say no to EHP. It's not implicated at all. All right. So I hit save and next. All right, project narrative. Again, here's the art of the application. This is a very competitive grant process. Many more folks will apply than will be able to get funding, undoubtedly. So you want to get into, why your project is important and why it should be approved above other folks' projects. All right. I'm just going to say penetration testing software here for purposes of demonstration, but you want to be more persuasive than that when you do your application. All right, investment strategy. This talks about essentially what we're looking for here. It's a narrative for how your project strategy effectively demonstrates your objectives, preventing, preparing for, protecting against, or responding to cyber incidents. Okay, and it goes on and on here. This would refer back to your 4 program objectives, whatever objective you selected on the previous screen, and your 16 required elements. So you want to incorporate that into your language here. Again, I'm just going to say penetration testing software here. You want to do a better job of that in your actual application. Collaboration, again, this explains what that means. It'll kind of show how you're collaborating with other partners and achieving regional, statewide, or multi-state impact with your project. Read it, take your best shot at the information. I'm just going to say penetration testing software here again to move on. All right, budget narrative. This describes what you want to buy. Okay, so clearly here we're buying penetration testing software. Impacts outcomes. All right, so again, this tells you what we're looking for here. This talks about basically you're detailing what will be accomplished by the project, what procedures will be implemented, what capabilities will be enhanced, how threats and hazards will be mitigated, and so forth. Again, I try to refer back to your objective and your required elements that you had on the previous screen, and take your best shot at what you want to say here. I'm just going to say penetration testing software to move on. Milestones. Okay. Here we're looking for your plan should you get funded. Okay, so execute your MOA. That's your grant agreement. In this case, let's just say for our purposes, the grant agreements will come out. Let's say by July. We'll say by July 31st of 2025. So there's really not a lot you can do on that. I just estimate, when you think you'll get a grant agreement signed. I just put July 31st, 2025 as a placeholder. All right. So let's assume you get a grant agreement executed around the summer of 2025. When would you be able to procure your goods and services, under the grant? All right. So we're looking here for a definitive plan. Okay. The sooner the better, right? You want to go ahead and have a firm plan in place to be able to buy those goods and services. And this is a reimbursement grant. So you would buy the goods and services with your own funds. Then you would submit a reimbursement request to get reimbursed for those funds. Then you would close the grant out. Here we're looking for a real tight plan to be able to show you're executing things in a timely manner. So in this case, I'm going to say we're going to buy the stuff. If we sign our grant agreement July 31st of 2025, we're going to try to buy the stuff. Let's see here. By, let's see, the end of August 2025, okay? Then submit your final reimbursement request. Here we're going to try to do it real tight. We'll say, let's see here, we're going to try to do that by the end of October. All right, and then we're going to try to close the grant out by the end of November. Real tight plan here. Now, obviously, you don't need to do this with your own application. You have a period of performance that lasts for 3 years, so you can take your time doing it. I'm just showing you an extreme case here of how you would close it out as quickly as possible. But put whatever dates you think are appropriate. Anywhere you see a red asterisk, that's a required field in Salesforce. Okay, so those fields must be filled out in order to move forward with the application. All right, so it looks like I filled everything I was required out. Now I move on to my budget. All right. You must submit a budget with every grant application. And this explains to you a little bit of how the budget works. You have to pick what we call a POETI category for each item or good or service that you're purchasing. Okay, POETI is planning, organization, equipment, training, or exercise. Okay, so that's to fall within one of those categories. If you purchase equipment, you must find what we call the AEL, authorized equipment listing. It's a FEMA listing that associates with that equipment. All right. Now, this also further describes that when you create your budget, you must account for your project match. Okay. So in this case, we're going to keep it really simple. We're going to say this penetration testing software package costs $800,000. All right. And again, going back to the example, if it's a 70% federal funding and a 30% required local match, that means of the $100,000 cost for the software, we will request $70,000 federal funding, and we will match $30,000 of our own funds to purchase that software package. And that's what we're going to put in this budget here. All right, so software it's equipment. Okay, I know it kind of sounds silly, but it's considered equipment for federal grant purposes. So software is considered equipment. Again, we're talking penetration testing software. And again, you got to think it out here. The total cost of the software is $100,000. The federal share is 70% of that, so it's going to be $70,000. Okay. And again, 30% of $100,000 is $30,000 for the match. Okay. Quantity is not required. Red asterisks are the required fields. Here, quantity is not required. I'm going to leave it blank. It's a software package. No need to really get quantity for that. Here's that AEL I was telling you about. So if you go here, this describes what an AEL is. Here's the information takes to the actual FEMA AEL listing. We even give you a little advice here that for software as a service, the AEL is 04AP11 SaaS. Okay, AELs for IT and cybersecurity enhancement begin with different numbers, but in this case, I'm going to go ahead and just cut and paste this AEL right here, 04AP11 SaaS, because this software we're buying is software as a service penetration testing software. Okay. There's my AEL for that. But you must always look up your AEL whenever you're purchasing equipment. Now, if I had been doing organization or planning or training, you would not see an AEL, would not be required for that. Okay, but because we're doing equipment, the AEL is required. All right, hit save and next. And that's your budget. We're not going to require any additional budget lines here. You can, of course, request additional items. up to a total maximum federal funding amount of $250,000. Okay, but in this case, we're buying the software, $70,000 federal funding, we're matching $30,000, and we are done. All right, so I'm going to hit no for additional budget lines. As simple as that, you created your budget. All right, now you can edit this budget if you want, delete it, create a new budget line, but in this case, all looks good. All right. Any additional information you want us to know below, this is not required. I'm not going to type anything here, but anything you want to add. I think it's limited to 3,000 characters additional text here, but whatever you want to put in here. And not required. All right. You can also upload documents in support of your application. Okay, this is not required, but you can upload anything you want in support of your application. All right. In this case, let's just say I have a price quote for that software package. So I want to show, look, I've done my due diligence, I've researched it, this is how much it's going to cost. All right, I'm going to upload that price quote here. So you simply hit upload files. It will take it to your local computer. This is my downloads folder on my local computer. And let's just say I don't really have it, but let's just say I've got a price quote here for penetration testing software. Okay, simply click that, upload it. You'll see a green check mark indicating that the document has been uploaded. Hit done. Okay. If you want to upload additional documentation, just do it again. You can upload as many files as you want. Not required. No files are required. But if you want to upload anything, you can do it here. All right. So we've uploaded our price quote. Save it next. All right. This gets into your cybersecurity posture question. So what the committee that assesses these applications wants to know is, what is your maturity level, of your current cybersecurity posture. All right. And I think the theory is, the less mature cybersecurity posture, might require more grant funding to bring you up to an acceptable level of maturity. Okay, so this kind of trying to assess where you are right now to kind of determine what your needs are for funding. All right, that's why they ask these questions. There's a lot of questions here. Anywhere you see a red asterisk, they are required. Right. So again, does your organization have a written security policy? Yes, we do. All right. Now, if we didn't even have that, that's a less mature model, right? But thankfully, we do have that. We say yes here. Right? Do all employees receive analyst cybersecurity awareness training? Yes, they do in my case. Does your organization have antivirus software on all workstations? Yes, we do. Okay. Now, if you say yes, you must select your AV solution. Okay. And these are all the common ones that are listed here. And we also have other if it's not listed. Okay. So let's just say in this case, I went through all this whole list and I don't see my choice here. Okay. I don't see my AV solution for antivirus. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put other here. And my AV solution is Acme Firewall. All right. So I put it in there for other. If you pick one of the choices in the list, you will not have to put any, the other box will not appear there. But let's just say I had to enter one myself. So I put Acme Firewall. Does your organization have antivirus software on all servers? Yes, we do. Okay. Whoops. And again, it's going to ask you what the product is. Here, I'm just going to say it's Avast. Does your organization have a firewall? Yes, we do. We'll say Barracuda Networks. All right. Firewall model number, model 12345. All right. Does your organization utilize a central patch management solution? We'll say no, we don't. Okay. Is your organization's data regularly backed up via non-domain joint solution? Yes, it is. Is your organization using intrusion detection solutions to stop external attacks? Yes, we are. Okay, we're using Arctic Wolf for that purpose. Okay, is your organization using intrusion prevention solutions to stop external attacks? Yes, it is. We're going to say yes there. Okay. Describe the intrusion prevention solutions your organization is using. We're using Microsoft IDS. Okay. Are user accounts and permissions actively monitored and routinely audited? Yes, they are. Is your organization using any centralized logging solution? No, we're not. Does your organization require multi-factor authentication? Absolutely. Does your organization require multi-factor authentication for domain admin accounts? Yes, we do. Does your organization require multi-factor authentication for VPN access? Yes, we do. Okay, so I've answered all the required questions, and I'll simply hit next and advance to the next screen. Again, this is to assess your cybersecurity posture, determine your maturity for cybersecurity purposes, and the need for funding for your organization. Okay. So we'll hit next here, and hopefully we'll take to the next screen. Yes, very good. All right, so I've answered all those questions. Now we move on to our certifications. All right, being a federal grant, there are certain required legal certifications you must make. All right, so certification 1, this application includes complete and accurate information. You must answer all these certifications. They're a red asterisk field in order to advance the application. Okay, so I'm going to say yes. You must answer yes to all these certifications to advance the application. Okay. Any project having the potential to impact the environment would require an EHP form. I understand that, but in this case, software does not require EHP, but I understand if I were submitting a project that had the potential to impact the environment, some kind of construction, renovation, or modification project, I would have to submit an EHP. So I just say yes to that. Projects with funds allocated for emergency communications must meet applicable SAFECOM guidance recommendations. Again, click on the links for more information on what this means. Yes, I understand that. In this case, it's not communications equipment, it's software, but I say yes, just to understand that SAFECOM requirement. Receiving funds requires an annual nationwide cybersecurity review, which is no cost to me, and I must sign up for required cyber hygiene services. Again, click the link to learn more about what that means. But understand, if you do accept SLCGP funding, it comes with some strings attached to it, or you must do an NCSR, and you must participate in cyber hygiene services at no cost to you, but you must do them. So I understand that, and I click yes. If you're not willing to do that, you need not apply for the funds. Okay, so you must take yes to certification. Projects with funds allocated for equipment are required to check all equipment against the FEMA AEL. We've already talked about that. In this case, we put the SAS AEL for our software already, but we say yes to that. We understand the AEL for equipment. Submission of the project proposal is not guaranteed funding. We understand this is just an application. We don't know if we'll be funded or not. It's a competitive process. Entities must be able to sustain capabilities once SLCGP funds are no longer available. So in this case, I'm using funds to buy this penetration testing software, but I have to be able to sustain that capability once the funding's over. Okay, so I have to be able to pay the recurring license costs or patch costs or upgrade costs, right? To be able to maintain that capability. If I'm not willing to do that, I need not apply for the funds. Okay, in this case, I'm going to do that. I'll have budgeted funds to take care of that once the grant purchases software. I say yes. All right. This is your false official statement. Okay, so basically, if you lie on an application, knowing you lie on a grant application, because the federal grant application, you are subject to penalties under both federal and potentially state law. Bottom line, don't do it. It's not worth it. All sorts of nasty things can happen to you if you lie on a grant application. That's what this says. Okay, I understand that. Yes. All right. And with all the certifications, we say yes to all the required fields. We hit save and next. We can advance the application. Now your application has been submitted. Thank you for applying for the SLCGP grant. You will receive a notice, email notice, saying that as well to your registered email address with the contact associated or contacts associated with the application. All right, I hit finish. Once you submit the application, again, going back to your Salesforce home screen, if you click on the application's object, okay, you will see the application that you submitted. Now here again, I've used this Z Alpha testing account to submit many grant applications, but you can sort your applications by date, with most recent being on top. And the one we just submitted here is application 467 for penetration testing software. Okay, so Salesforce assigns a unique application number to it. Click on that. This is the application you submitted. This essentially becomes your grant file. Okay, if you're awarded funds, you will manage it through the application screen. If you just submit an application and it's not approved, you will still have all your information here if you want to apply again next year. Okay, so this is basically your grant file. All right, now this is your application. If you look at the details here on the left, this tells you all the information you entered. If you click on the related tab on the right here, this is sort of like all the attached information in support of the grant application. Okay, so think of it as a manila folder. When you open that manila folder, the left side of the folder is all the written information about the grant. The right side of that folder has that binder clip on it, has all the attachments, attached to it. So here you're going to see that budget you created, which is Salesforce assigns a unique budget number 381. You're going to see that file you uploaded. So you had that price quote for the penetration testing software. That's here. Once you're awarded funds, you will see your awards appear here. Once you're awarded funds, you sign your grant agreement. You'll see that. A project will be created for you, and you'll manage your grant through the project associated with the award. Okay. Once you close out the award, you'll see your closeouts here. So again, this becomes your basically online grant file once you're awarded funds. Okay. So the application object is very important. The application number is very important for Salesforce purposes. But today we just applied for the funding. We don't have an approved project yet. We want to print out our application. All right. Click printable view up in the upper right-hand corner. And from here, you can print the page as a PDF or print it on your printer. All right. I'll close the window here on that. Also in Salesforce, anytime you see a screen in Salesforce, if you simply hit Control P, the shortcut on your keyboard, the nice thing about Salesforce is you can print that entire screen. And if it's multiple screens, multiple pages, it will print them all of what you're seeing. Okay. So here you can also print the application that way or any screen in Salesforce by hitting Control P. All right. That's how you print it. Again, it's saved under your application object for future reference. You will receive an email that the application has been submitted. Now, let's just say the application here is not due till January 31st, 2025. At any time, I can update my application that I've submitted up until the date of January 31st, 2025, up until 11:59 p.m. on January 31st, 2025. I can update my application. I can withdraw my application, submit a new application, right? You can only submit one application for SLCGP funding, but you can withdraw a previous application to submit a new application. You can update your existing application. Once 11:59 p.m. occurs on January 31st, 2025, these buttons will disappear. You'll only be able to update or withdraw your application. Okay, but until then, just simply click update your application if you want to update it, or withdraw and start a new one. All right, and pretty much that is how you submit your application for FY24 SLCGP. Again, I'd encourage you can Google our FY24 SLCGP website. That will be updated shortly with more information about it. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at any time to assist you with questions you may have. And thank you for your time and attention this morning. Good luck with your FY24 SLCGP application. Thank you. Goodbye.